So, good morning, gentlemen. So, I'm going to speak on topic in the that is most relevant, not relevant, but in the 2026 we saw that topic that is mostly very famous in 2026 in the geopolitics term, that is strategic autonomy. So my main topic is strategic autonomy. I'm going to speak on this topic. So first of all, for the further understanding of this term, I have divided this term into two parts, like what is strategy and what is autonomy. Strategy means, you see, strategic means you have to plan, and you have to plan means in a very careful, in a very meticulous way, that it will advantage in the long run, it will give only the advantage to in the long run. So this is a strategic. And autonomy means you have to, means you have the supreme power, you are the sovereign nation to choose whatever is right, whatever is wrong with you. So you have the only power, no one is up to, and no one is deciding your fate. That is autonomy. So together this term we can say strategic autonomy means India have to choose the strategic autonomy in the geopolitics. So first of all, why we choose this term? There are many various terms in this geopolitics. Why we are choosing the strategic autonomy? So when we saw that we have been colonized by the Britishers in the till the 1947, so we saw that only means our fate is decided by the Britishers. So but after the 1947 and today means we also saw that there was a major era between these two superpower, that is USSR, that was USSR and the USA, and we have to choose, and we have to choose one side between them. So we choose neither of them. We choose strategic autonomy because we have to take control, and we have not done take control, but we have to live life with our own decisions, not controlled by the anything else. So this is where it starts, strategic autonomy, where it starts. Now today we saw that in the geopolitics why India have to choose strategic autonomy, what is the reason behind this, and how it is useful for us to be in the strategic autonomy. So number one thing, I will give you some examples that will show to that how India choose its strategic autonomy. That means all over the Western nation that put sanctions on India tariffs, but we choose autonomy, strategic autonomy. So number one thing is when Russia invaded the Ukraine, that, and also we saw that USA and the European Union, that means they put sanctions on the means in the countries like India, China, many countries, that if we buy all, you have to, means you have to take a price, you have not, but they put sanctions on the overall economy, that no one country that buy the oil from the Russia. So when the India saw that, because India don't have the too much, because India don't have too much, India don't want to be too, India don't want it to be spent on too much price on the crude oil, because at that time Russia also wanted to means sell their price in a very small amount. So that's why we saw that it's the only option for us to choose. Uh, we saw that it was the only option for us to choose that, to choose the Russian oil for our behalf, for our sovereignty. We didn't we didn't listen to US and their EU sanctions, and we bought the Russian oil for our daily work, for our daily working, for our economy. So this is the one thing that we will not, that we would not listen to the US. And second is also in the recent times US and Iran war, when US means put sanctions all over the world not to buy, not to not to bought oil from the Iran. But India also sees that India don't, means India had a good relation, and India also have a good relation with the Iran. But if we saw that on the other hand USA put sanctions on the countries, but we are a very strategic player. What we want our sovereignty, we want our needs to fulfill. That's why we chose. So we chose the Iran crude oil over the US sanctions. So it is also a, sees a very major thing to the India's strategic autonomy. And India is choosing our own rights rather than they being controlled by the others like the US. This is our strategy. This is and third thing that we bought defense purchases from the Russia because we purchases like Russia means sell their 70% equipment to the India. But we want but in the 2026 we also want some modern weaponaries like what modern machines like we have to uh, modernize our military, we have to modernize our defense. So only Russia, not only Russia, but we have to see our interest, and we have bought many items like the France, like we have what we bought from the France, like we bought the scalp, we bought the meteor. This is the meteor is a beyond visual range air-to-air missile. Scalp is a cruise missile. We bought we brought bought the Rafael. This is from and UK and Sweden. We took from the we took radar system from them, and in the US we choose Chinook C-17, C-130J, Apache, and from the other countries as well. Means you see, means we are diversifying our trade network, our defense equipment. That was only from Russia, but now we are diversifying our nature because we want the modern technology in 2026. This is the another example, and